Hello, and welcome to the first in our interview series about overcoming self-doubt. I'm Linda Chung, and today I am joined by Lee Pottle, who's had an amazing life, I have to say. I think for many people, people would describe him as living the dream. Played for Watford Football Club as a junior, became a company director, was it by 19, I think, first of all, co-founder of ElliotLee estate agent chain, and now founder of my Property Helper Sports. So what a journey, Lee. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome, no problem.
Tell us what's behind you, actually. What's the backdrop?
Oh, these are just a few of our shirts that we've got from players that have kindly donated their shirt from, if we've managed to find them a property, they donate their shirt as part of the deal. So we've got quite a few scattered around. They're just kind of dumped at the minute on behind the whiteboard before we get them all framed up, but we've got quite a few.
Amazing. So you help sports people and they literally give you the shirts off their backs. Amazing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So my Property Helper Sports, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, my Property Helper Sports is pretty much we're a property finding agency where we help athletes either find a home or source investment opportunities to build up like a passive income for after sport. So, but that's one part of the company. The other thing that we do is we're very proud of our educational side. So we actually run a life skills campaign called Preparing for Your Life After Sport. And what that does is that we run a life skills program for football clubs and for rugby clubs, and we attend the clubs predominantly with under 23s and first teams, where we go in and support the club and educate the players on property and investments, and we try and help them to encourage what property would, what their life would look like if they had a property portfolio after their career is finished.
And that, I understand, involves quite a lot of you speaking publicly. You do, big stand-up things, and I'm aware that public speaking isn't something you love to do. So, how
No.
You ended up doing something that makes you quite nervous a lot of the time. You're brilliant at it, but you will absolutely say that you get nervous.
Well, yeah, and I still do. So I started with cards. So I used to write a lot of the stuff down. So I would go to a football club and I would kind of read off the cards and talk about the presentation. It's sort of a 20-25 minute workshop on property investment. But then gradually I lost the cards and gradually got better. I was then invited by a company called Laps, who we're now a partner of. They're called Laps for Life After Professional Sport. It was set up by current and former athletes to as an employment platform. So we did one at Manchester City Stadium at the Etihad. So we had a workshop there, and there must have been 300, 400, 500 different athletes thinking about different career choices, and the property investment seminar which they attended, which I had to perform at, was very nerve-wracking to say the least. But I still get nervous talking to you today.
Okay. No need to be nervous talking to me. If it's not something you enjoy doing, what was the sort of push? Was it the fact that you could help so many people? Was it, what was the driver to embrace something that, you wouldn't say you feel naturally comfortable about?
Yeah, I guess I've seen the ugly side of sport over the last 2 years, and I know that when a lot of players come to the end of their career, they genuinely are quite concerned as to what they're going to go and do. And if they haven't invested their money wisely whilst they're playing, it's a scary world. So it's our job really is to help the clubs, and if we can grab the young players at such a young age and steer their mentality towards preparing for their future after sport now at 19, 20, 21, then property is a great way of them investing their money, and they don't have to use us. That's not why we go in. We're just trying to encourage them to make the right choices from an early age, instead of looking at maybe watches or cars or things that could maybe badly affect their A, savings, or B, credit rating. We're here to just support the club and support everything that they're doing by exploring things that are going to become tangible assets, things that they can actually earn them an income if they're without a job.
So it's the impact you can have,
Yeah,
that's a key driver for you in terms of how you can, you will overcome things that you don't feel comfortable with. Are there other themes for you? I mean, as a professional sports person, someone that heads up a company so young and then owns a chain and owns different brands, what would you say might be most surprising to people to think about your journey?
I think I've always had a good work ethic. For me, I've always been an early riser in the morning. I've always tried to read motivational books. I've always felt like I've had a strong attitude. I've always been quite good with people, particularly more on a one-to-one as opposed to a presentation, which I'm learning about. And I guess I've just not been too afraid to have that leap of faith. I mean, when I sold my house at the age of 24 to set my own estate agency, to move back home after moving out at 18, you just got to adjust and be brave. Try and make the right decisions. We've made plenty of wrong ones along the line as well, but you learn and you become stronger for it. And even during this sort of COVID-19 situation we're in at the moment, once again, adapting and learning new skills has been something that eventually I've kind of got to grips with, and now we're probably having the best month we've ever had.
That's phenomenal, and such a great message, because I think for me, actually, the startup journey was, the language of startup is all about failing fast and failing forward. And as a corporate person, I used to think failure was not an option. And it's quite a switch in my mindset to think, actually, this is how I learn, how I get data, how I get better at understanding what's going on. So I think your message there is phenomenal. So don't be afraid of that failing and learning, right?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent stuff. And so what, in terms of next steps for you, what would you say, what might be the next piece of self-doubt you're going to be dealing with, Lee? What's next in your mind?
Self-doubt. Well, I guess I was very self-doubt for a few weeks ago. I think the opening week of lockdown was tough. I don't know how you were, but I was very much used to my own routine of what I did in life, and my routine was taking the children to school. I loved going to the gym early, and then I'd start my day. I'd have meetings. I'd have coffee meetings. But then even in the evenings, I'd be taking the kids to football because they're both football crazy. I would also be. I'd have my Wednesday night club with my friends. We'd always go out for dinner on a Wednesday. But I'd have so much planned throughout the week, and then for all of that to stop, we had a real bad few days with different lenders pulling mortgage offers. Suddenly, all those deals that we'd worked so hard on for different players that getting so excited about stuff were being pulled away. We had financially committed to things that we were hoping that we would get the money in from the sales that we had done. That was a really tough few weeks, and I'm an emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so when things are good, I'm bouncing around like a Duracell bunny, and when things are bad, I'm probably an absolute nightmare to live with. So yeah, I think that was really tough. I had lots of presentations booked in with rugby clubs, with football clubs. All of them were cancelled, and suddenly you start to think, well, how am I going to get through this? So that first week was pretty bad. I guess eventually, after probably 4 or 5 days of assessing, probably a bit of sulking, I kind of just created a new routine. I started to write down ways of how we could still perform, adapt, how we can still educate. I started to prepare for work every day. So I went back to the routine that I enjoyed. So I still get up now early. I have a run every Monday to Friday. So I take the dog with me as well, and sometimes the kids come too. So we do that every morning, Monday to Friday, and I get ready for work. I will now read. I've never really read, but I now allocate time for that. I've been very lucky that I've created new presentations for a webinar format, which I've now sent out to many clubs. We've now done one for I've done two for the Rugby Players Association, which has created so much new work, which has been amazing. We've got one for the Professional Cricket Association tomorrow. We've had one for the LAPS programs. So we had 41 current and former athletes. So from Team GB, athletes to hockey, to cricketers, to boxers, to judo, to football. It's been insane. I'm meeting so many new people this way of working. Yeah, we've got more football clubs now booked in. So
that's quite quick, isn't it? To capture what you've been saying. It's part of it. Part of it was actually reintroducing some normality, you know, in these weird times, you know, what normality can be put in place. And once you had that kind of base there, then you just started flying again, Lee. I mean,
do you know what? It gives you a natural uplift. And then suddenly, if you feel that energy back, and then suddenly your mind begins to tap into other areas of what made you happy and what made you prosper before. We've just attacked it.
Well, and that's the thing I really appreciate, because you've got so much going on this week. You know, the calls are coming in constantly. Love it. I mean, there's proof of what's going on in your life right now. So from normality to lift off again, phenomenal. And I really appreciate you making the time with everything going on. You're going to be everywhere, really. You're omnipresent in all sporting worlds right now. Everyone's going to know who you are. So I appreciate the fact that I've had a chance to chat with you today.
Oh, no, it's been great.
And I guess, you know, key thing to leave with, I'd love to ask, because I think in these difficult times, sometimes it's very easy to feel down, actually, and that's okay. But it's also thinking about how to help lift people when that happens. And one of the things I always think is really helpful is just to be thankful. So think about all the small things that you're really thankful for. So Lee, can I ask you, you know, what thing are you thankful for at the moment?
I'm thankful that the weather's been so good.
Yeah. Amazing,
I know, with two kids at home, being able to, after their sort of homeschooling, going outside, enjoying the garden. We had our garden done up probably about 18 months ago, so it's been a lovely garden to enjoy. And we enjoy our home, and I'm very lucky also that my dad lives in the same road. We live in a very quiet road. My dad's at one end, I'm at the other. So we get to see him most days, just checking on him. Well, obviously within social distancing, we're a few metres apart, but just make sure
each other.
Yeah, he's there, and one of my best friends lives next door to my dad. So we've got a lovely community in our roads, particularly when we sort of come out and clap for the NHS every week. It's lovely. Everyone walks out with their guitars and hats and whistles, and it's just great, you know. So we're very lucky that we've got a family close by that we can sort of check up on each other and keep morale where it needs to be.
What are you taking out, guitar or a saucepan? You know, what level of musicality are you, Lee?
I just hold the dog before he starts running up and down the road.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thank you for that, and thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no, you're welcome. It's been great.
Well, take care, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, we'll do. Good luck. Take care. See you. Bye.
See you.